onto a flatbed. Mm-hmm. It's going to go to the owner's new storage location, wherever that may be. You know, and from there it might putt down to the local body shop or whatever to be finished. The bodies, and it's not rough. I mean, it's got some nice paint on it, but
we got to talk to him.
There's a lot of finishing that's got to be done. There's about 9 years worth of electrical work.
We got to talk to him about treating the fuel system, as our next week's guest will talk about. We're going to have the fellow from Startron.
Startron, yes.
Next week, Starbright, that makes the fuel additive that I've been using for years, and that car needs at least some of that to help combat the effects of the ethanol.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that thing probably had pretty much unhomogenized dinosaur doo-doo. I don't think that had modern gas in it for a long time.
Oh no, exactly. Sure.
And it turned to that stuff that you found. By the way, was that carburetor was full of stuff?
No, like I said, everything that was in it had dried out and turned to dust.
Right, okay.
So,
but there was a lot of dust.
I took a lot of it and knocked it on the bench onto a piece of paper, and the rest of it, when I put it in the wash, it just it took it out.
Great. Well, yeah, because I was going to kind of just tighten things up and cross my fingers and see if it held. But I said, you know what? Let's, my luck, there's going to be something clogged in one of the idle circuits or something like that. It would just be a wreck. So we might as well just do the right thing.
Right.
Now it's set up, and if he ever wants to take it off, and put it on some Mustang someplace, I'll be fine too.
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take a break. People should know they can check us out still on the web, motormouthradio.com, and now on our newly used Twitter feed at Motormouth Radio. You could look that up on Twitter and find us and see what we're doing. And our followers are building slowly. Jeep and Al has been influential in that for us. He's shared us with everybody, and we just picked up Dina Parisi, so that's cool.
Oh, okay.
And,
so we're gonna have a bunch of twits, and we're gonna. Oh no, are we the twits or are they the twits?
Yet to be decided.
They're the Twitterers.
Yet to be decided.
I don't know.
But right now,
I talk to my kids about this stuff.
I'll tell you what, though. Right now, we're going to go out. We're going to try and we're staying dry, but we're going to see if we can jump out into the rain with this next bit, and we'll be back with more Motormouth Radio in a few minutes. Keep it where you got it, please.
I'm Dr. Janine Cook-Arad, the host of the longest-running faculty program on the Voice of NASA Community College, 90.3 WHPC. As a professor of nursing department, our program strives to provide cutting-edge medical interviews with local and national doctors, along with health practitioners from every modality. The one question we have to ask ourselves is, what is your greatest asset? And most of you would respond, your health. Each week, we provide you with programs that will educate you about issues affecting your health while raising the bar for improving your health. So join me, Dr. Janine Cook-Arad, every Tuesday afternoon at 3 and Sunday morning at 6 for your family's health on the Voice of NASA Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
What are all these birds doing here at the radio station?
They're just tweeting.
They're kind of loud.
They'll stop soon. They're about to hit 140 characters.
Huh?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm retweeting that.
Oh, no, not again.
You gotta like that.
That tweeter just tweeted all over the equipment.
Do you, or do you not, know about the bird?
Join the conversation on Twitter. Find us at 903-WHPC.
I'm not cleaning that up.
Hey, what's the big idea?
That's 903-WHPC on Twitter. From the Voice of NASA Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
All right. Twittering, all that good stuff. That's very timely because with our new Twitter feed in action, I'm glad to see we have a promo on there that I can play that will actually back that up. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to learn how to do this. I mean, you're a Facebook guy. I'm not. You are. And if I can do the Twittering, there's nuances of it that I've been getting schooled on from many people, and I still haven't. I don't own it yet. I don't understand it 100%. Certainly not well enough to fluently explain it to somebody else, and I'm talking about the hashtag and the @ symbol thing. I kind of get it, but I'm not, like,
it takes me a little while before I really get comfortable.
Yeah.
And like we said, Joe, tweeters aren't our thing. Woofers are our thing because we're bottom end guys.
Yeah,
both of us.
we hold down the bottom end of things, and it's kind of hard to thump with a tweeter. So,
it is. But regardless, this is the way of the world now, social media, and I see how it gets out. I'm not a big social media guy per se, even in that realm, but I understand its net worth, and we are we're buying in.
Yeah, let's face it, we are part of the media. So, I mean, it's time for us to enter the second part of the 21st century over there, the second decade over there. I mean, I'm still used to like the interweb. I'm still listening. I open the computer and I expect to hear that noise that you used to go on AOL. You did that very well,
Yeah, I know. Well, I've heard, how many times did I hear that in my life? The external modem. I remember when I got an internal modem, I thought I was really hot stuff because, wow, you don't hear it.
56K.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah. Well, actually, it was in baud. Yeah, they rated them in baud.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they used to have the scan tools and stuff in baud rates.
Same thing, yeah.
But these days now we're way past that, and now I know these devices like operate a lot faster than I could think, so I'm not even going to even try to.
Speaking of new and old technology, thanks to Mark, I sent you out a video of a guy who actually graphically he compared all of the Star Trek starships for speed. With light speed as the indicator, which doesn't even move compared to something, and he does it in a couple different ways. It's really cool.
Yes, they've changed the warp scale a couple of times over the decades, and I actually knew that one time, the way that it geometrically progressed, but I don't know, I suck at geometry, so I'll have to go back to it. But
it's freaking fast.
Yeah, basically they raced from Earth to Saturn or something like that, yeah. But
actually, they went to the outer edges of the solar system. Yeah,
the outer edge of the solar system.
So
that's right.
It's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
An anniversary today. I saw on my calendar. It's 7 years ago today that I hydrolocked the engine in my Mazda.
Was it that long?
That was the same day you got piled up on the Grand Central Parkway in your Camry.
The Cavalier.
The Cavalier, I'm sorry.
Yes, the white Cavalier.
Right. It was the same day. It was a rainy morning. I forget what day of the week it was. It might have been a Friday, possibly. But I know it was the same day that you had your mishap, and I said, oh, geez, the wet stars are aligning in a bad way for both of us. So.
Yeah, things getting plowed into all over the place. And why does that stuff seem to happen concurrently?
I don't know.
That's very weird. You know how they say stuff comes in threes or whatever?
I think the universe was slowly, it's like a tractor beam trying to move a dead planet or a dead starship, which was actually on the Orville last week.
Right.
When you try to move big objects slowly to make them go towards somewhere you want them to go, I think the system was moving us maybe a little closer together into a tighter orbit, so to speak.
I think the universe was just trying to make us get rid of our cars because we've had them way too long. It's like, you stop driving those things already. It's like, would you like to have your own rolling antique show? Or
actually, my car was only 4 years old at the time, so that wasn't.
Yeah, that's right.
It wasn't that old.
Yeah, that's true. That was one of the quote unquote new cars.
That's right. It was one of the new ones in the vehicle.
Yeah, but that's right. How'd you hydrolock that again? Would you hit a puddle or something?
I did. I was on my way to work, and stupidly, I didn't want to wait for this light because there was more traffic than usual because it was a heavy, rainy morning. And I knew if I cut through the side streets by a friend's house, I could come out, a little further down the road.
Right.
So I did that. And I've gone through those streets many times. When I got to the last leg, there was water in the road. And I said, okay, well, I know because my buddy lives there. And I said, this street doesn't have a dip. It doesn't usually flood. It's not going to be 3 feet of water. I know it's not like there wasn't a dip under there like San Francisco.
You wouldn't have to raise the periscope.
Right. So I went through it slowly, and the car sputtered and died. And I was like, uh-oh.
Oops.
And, yeah, it
that's a bad feeling.
Yeah.
That really is.
Oh, it sure was. So it was one of those freak accidents, and the way it hit the air intake. I don't have, on those cars, on the Mazdas, one of the aftermarket air intakes went down under the bumper.
Right.
That's definitely a water grabber. No, mine grabs it up high. So I guess the water splashed up. And I had to go through the intake track, through the K&N filter,
right,
and then into the engine. It actually did choke the motor.
Yeah, it can happen. I mean, it doesn't even take that much. I've seen engines hydrolock due to, like, say, head gasket leaks and stuff. That. That was the thing with some of the V6, the 3800 GM motors, where the EGR passage was too close to on the intake manifold. It would blow through and it would suck antifreeze
straight into the engine, and
Right.
you'd lose a couple cylinders. You know, there wasn't like a gallon of water in there neither. It was just a small amount, but that's all it takes because liquids do not compress.
That's right. Exactly. That's exactly what
that much
happens.
I remembered from school.
yeah, right. Well, you remembered that, yeah.
But so that was new motor time for you, right?
Yeah, they took the car in, went to a body shop, and they did some diagnostics. Literally, the first thing he did is he disconnected everything, pulled the plugs, and just cranked the engine and pumped water out of the spark plug holes.
Oh, it's like those fountains you see like at the shop and at the malls and stuff where like the water dances out and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
He did get the car to run again, and it ran okay. You know, and then did a bunch of stuff. I got it back. Insurance paid the bill, and I noticed that just like I do with this check engine light, it was the same thing. When I sat at idle, I could feel a very imperceptible, just the slightest little offness in the engine, like a little bit of an off tick.
Yeah.
And if I touch the gas, it isn't throttled by wire. It's connected on that car. So if I hit it just right, I could see where I hit the pedal and I didn't see the tack increase. If I hit it more, then the tack would jump. There was a little lag there. And then once you started to drive, it was fine.
Right.
Only there. And when I relayed that back to the shop, he says, listen, he goes, we believe the owner knows the car better than anybody else who drives it. And he said to me, a guy like you who knows his cars, bring it back in. And then they did some more diagnostics. He said, you know what? We believe you have a bent rod. At least one bent rod, maybe two, and that's what's causing it. So the fix then, the insurance company, of course, goes through the
motor time.
And they said, we're going to put a motor in it. So they did.
There are certain things because of the complexity of it. Even on certain cars, timing chains.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's pretty much, step one, drop the motor. And then, if, depending on the actual failure, the tip of the iceberg is, say, like the timing chain or something like that. But meanwhile, it could be a valve or 5 bent.
Oh yeah,
and it's just easy to rather than the labor time, just to put another motor in, either reman or used or whatever, rather than having somebody. A lot of shops too will not rip a motor, a modern motor down on the bench because of time constraints, cleanliness, special tools,
right?
You know what I mean? That kind of thing. It's just easy to get another motor and plug it in. Unfortunately, the old school way of taking something apart and rebuilding it, it's just not practical anymore. It's not that people have become lazy or anything like that. It's just that the world doesn't operate that way. You just can't make money that way.
Yeah.
So, it's like, oh, good used unit, let's go with that. It's the labor time is a tenth of ripping down the engine and doing it up.
Yeah.
Not to mention you can't even find, how many machine shops are still around that, and if they are, they're usually high performance.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, so if you give them some everyday pedestrian 2.3 liter 4-cylinder, they're going to look like, we don't have anything small enough to fit in those holes to bore it out.
Exactly.
So it doesn't work that way.
Exactly. Well, you can stick your little finger in a little hole on your phone and dial it at 516-572-7440. Give us a call. I don't know if this thing is working until it lights off. So
yeah, somebody call. Somebody make a comment. Somebody
indulge us.
Make fun of us. Tell us a good harrowing story of why your car doesn't run, or ask why your car doesn't run.
Well, we're gonna take a break in another minute or two, and we're gonna talk about some grounding. But I want to talk about. I also want to mention this. During the week, I was bumping around at work, and I found. I've brought projects in over the years, and I found in a bin a Holley 3310 that I sent you a picture of.
Oh, yeah.
And when I looked up the number, it's a 780. It was off a 396, 425 horsepower Chevelle engine. It was off a Z-16. Well, that's what the number came back to.
That's the option code, yeah.
Z-16. Number 3878261EH is the part number. And it's on the air horn. Yep. So, again, it's another one of those unforgettable ones. But the date code was 051, which meant May 1st, the first week of May in 1970.
Right.
So it was a universal replacement carburetor that they sold a gazillion of through many years. The thing that's going to trip people up now is the fact that the part number, if you Google it even or look in those books, it takes you back to Z-16 Chevelle, which is unobtainium.
Sure.
If the date code matched the number, the thing would be worth a freaking fortune.
Absolutely. You got, if you're showing the car off and you're going for originality and points and whatnot, that stuff's killer.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you just want the thing to dump gas down the intake, who cares? You know what I mean? But, especially as those cars now become more and more valuable, and you want to keep the originality intact.
Well, Z16s, I think they only made like 1,000 of them or something. It was very,
they're not. They're not that common, but to have the right carburetor, that's like that Ford carburetor. That thing's off a Cobra jet.
See, that came back with provenance. With the Z-16 thing, you have to do a little more diligence in your research, and you have